G'day again everyone, Rowan here. Sorry I'll be squinting. I seem to have lost my summer hat, which is a real shame because I love that hat. I've had it for 40 years. It's been with me through lots of adventures, but hopefully I'll be able to find it, especially since summer's coming on and we've got some hot weather to come. Okay, so we've got 5 varieties to harvest today in pots. They're the last of the pots to be emptied, so let's get to it. Okay, first of all we've got this one. This is a new release for this year called Brahms. If you'll remember from one of my other videos, all this year's new releases are named after old composers. Let's see what we've got in here. Okay. So it's a round purple skinned variety. I'll just get a bag for it. Or a bucket. Reasonable sized ones. It's not as good a producer as I'd hoped, but it's still not as bad as it could have been. Here we go. Hope you can see that. I'll just go and cut one open on the fence again. One day I'll actually learn to bring a knife with me, but anyway. This one's purple inside. And we'll put that one away and do the next one. Yeah, not the best producer, but anyway, you get that. Right, the next one is a tetraploid called number 13. This one is one of the first ones I ever selected. It's a really good variety. I'm not sure that this one is quite ready yet, but I didn't water it well enough, and so they may not, the plants are not doing well, so I thought I'll just harvest them because I need to. People have been asking for some of the tubers, so oh yeah, definitely not mature. They should be 3 times this size. But this is one that I know a few small market gardeners are growing to put on their farmers market stalls. It's a really nice one. It's one of my mother's favourites. It's got pink flesh. This one is got a really long dormancy period. It'll last for 5 or 6 months over the winter. There's no problem with storage on it, with it. Basically, with these long storage varieties, the only problem you've got is actually forcing them to sprout when you want them to. I just get sick of trying to do that, so now I just plant them when I want and just let them come up at the time they want. I can do that with this one, but the next long storage one I'm going to harvest is called Nelly, and you really have to work at getting it to sprout before you plant them. Otherwise they could stay in the soil for 9 months before they decide to start sprouting. I mean, with this one you do want them to sprout relatively soon, so I often like to chit them by soaking them in warm water every couple of days and putting them in a light but not direct sun spot, just to get them to chit. If you don't chit them before you plant them, it could be a month between the first one starting to come out of the ground and the last one, which isn't really a bad thing for a home garden if you're only sort of digging up one plant at a time to eat them. But it's a pain if you want to harvest all at once. Okay, right, that's that of those 3 plants. Really, they do produce a lot better than this, but as I said, these plants, they matured too early because I didn't water them well enough. Anyway, I'll just cut one open on the fence. It's got lovely pink flesh. It makes great potato salad. Here you can see the lovely pink flesh. I particularly like it as mashed potato, but it's a good all-rounder. Okay, so that's number 13. Okay, well these next 3 I'm harvesting a bit early. One of them I'm harvesting early because I've noticed that some of the tubers are already starting to sprout, so I want to get that harvested and see what they're like, and I'll explain the other 2 as I go. Okay, so this first one, it basically finished flowering about 4 weeks ago, so it doesn't hurt to flower it, to harvest it now. The tubers really will only get a bit bigger after this, not a great deal. This is an unnamed one. So let's see what we've got in here. Okay, doesn't look like there's much in there at the moment. They're a lavender skinned variety. See, starting to sprout, and it doesn't look like it's particularly well producing, so it may not be one I'll go ahead with, but we'll see, particularly since lavender skin varieties just generally don't taste the best, in my opinion. the production on this one's really bad. I don't know if it's worth it. If I've got a spare bag, I might just put it in, see how it goes over the winter, but really it's not worth the trouble, all the effort of watering and looking after if they're not going to produce well. Although some of the tubers are a reasonable size. So out of 3 plants, this is what we've got. I suppose it could be worse, but really, I'll see. We'll see if I've got a spare pot. I'll keep one back to show you what the flesh is like on it. Okay, so the flesh is just barely pink, just white with just a flush of pink in it. Okay, so the next one is Nelly. I'm harvesting these way early because people are asking me for the tubers to put in my shop. So, but you can see this is a non-branching variety. It's very tall and strong, and it produces its flowers well above the foliage. It's my favourite variety, except that it has such a long dormancy period. Last year I planted these in I planted a bed of them and mulched them, and after a few months they hadn't come up, and I just assumed that they had rotted off. So I just thought, well, I'll rest that bed. Now this is just one plant in here. Anyway, I said I'll rest that bed, and then 9 months later they started sprouting in the middle of winter. It's really hard to get this one to chit, but it's, as I said, it's one of my favourites. Everyone likes it. Tastes good, and it's pretty. So as I said, these tubers will be much smaller than they usually are, simply because I'm harvesting it so early. I've got another pot of them which I'll leave to mature a bit more. Oh, it's full of ants. But anyway, see, this one's, it's an oval, it's a flattened sort of pancake shape, and it bears really well. I think this will be a great novelty for market gardens and farmers markets. It's purple with white, it's bicoloured purple and white. Oh, ants stinging me all over here. And this is one variety. I know you should be able to plant all varieties under a thick mulch, like, what do you call it, planting them under mulch? The Ruth Stout method. This one loves being planted in the Ruth Stout method. Okay, so let's have a better look at these. So this one's Nelly. And I'll go and cut one open on the fence. It's got beautiful purple flesh. See? Now if those were left to grow to full size, you can imagine it's a really how good the production would be. Okay, so this is number 117. We'll see if it's worth keeping. Okay, let's have a look now. Production doesn't look good so far. Okay, well, how knobbly is that? I've been hoping for one of this shape this year, so I'll be keeping this one for the shape even if the production isn't good. It's mostly white with some pink patches, if you can see that. There's only one plant in this pot. Let's see. It's sort of a pine cone shape. Very hard to peel, but you don't really need to peel them. The plant wasn't totally mature, so I would imagine if I'd left it longer these tubers would be a little bit bigger. Okay, so that's pretty poor production, but I'll keep it anyway for the diversity value. So there you go. I'll just, looks like the smaller ones are all red, and then as they grow the red shrinks on them. I reckon they'll be white inside, but I'll go and have a look. Yes, white inside. Okay, excellent. Okay, so that's the 5 I've got today, and that's the last of them until I harvest the new seedlings for this year. I'm excited about that, and I hope you are too. So please come back. Probably be maybe a month or so before I harvest those. So thank you for watching. See you later.